No discovery on Oak Island ever brings clarity, only deeper uncertainty. Each artifact pulled from the earth is both a triumph and a torment, each clue a double-edged sword. For every answer, two more questions rise from the shadows. And so it was in 2017 when core samples retrieved from borehole H8 delivered fragments of something shocking: parchment, leather, and what appeared to be vellum. Not just any parchment, but potentially centuries old, created in the manner of medieval manuscripts. But how? How does parchment, prepared animal skin used for sacred or elite writings, end up in a collapsed shaft 160 feet below a remote Canadian island? And who buried it? Was it a map? A letter? A warning? No one could say. Analysis showed that the material bore chemical signatures consistent with medieval preparation. Experts speculated that the source could be Europe, perhaps France, Spain, or even Britain. But the fragments were too small to read. And just like that, another door slammed shut. And yet the island whispered still. It whispered through symbols carved into rock, odd markings that some believed were Norse, others believed were Masonic. Triangles, arrows, inverted crosses, geometric patterns that lined up with astonishing mathematical precision. They pointed, some said, to a central spot, the money pit. But when the team attempted to follow those patterns, they ran into the same eternal wall water. Crashing, rushing water, the island's greatest weapon. Multiple attempts to block the flood tunnels failed. Even modern technology could not fully disarm the ancient trap. No one knew how far the water tunnels reached, how many there were, or how they functioned. Every borehole risked activating another pathway. It was like trying to disarm a centuries-old landmine, blindfolded. And yet, the deeper they dug, the stranger the results became. In 2018, sonar scans revealed a massive chamber, a possible void, below 170 feet. It was large, rectangular, unnatural. A vault? Some believed it was, but the cost of reaching it, without triggering collapse or flooding, was astronomical. Still, Rick and Marty pressed on, not out of greed, but obsession. A quiet, relentless obsession, born not from riches, but from history. As Rick once said, "This island, it gets inside you." And so, the work continued. Drill cores pulled up more than dirt and wood. They found segments of metal that predated the British Empire. Buttons from naval coats, nails made from Spanish iron, even a cross, small and encrusted with earth that some believed dated back to the 1300s. It was unlike any Christian cross found in North America. Some theorized it was Templar. Others argued it was from Portuguese explorers. Still others said it was a decoy, a modern plant meant to deepen the legend. But no one could prove anything. That's the cruel genius of Oak Island. It gives you just enough to believe, not quite enough to know. And all the while, the curse lingered. 6 dead, just one more. It was an old superstition, passed from mouth to mouth, never written. That 7 must die before the treasure reveals itself. No one could say where it started. No one could prove it true. But the diggers whispered it when the cameras were off, when the drills seized up, when the water suddenly turned black and bubbling, when lightning struck too close to the crane. The island, they believed, had a will of its own, and the more you disturbed it, the louder it screamed. They tried new technology, dye testing to trace the flood tunnels, ground radar to find hidden chambers, magnetometers to detect iron signatures. Each method revealed something new, something just out of reach. One test showed what might have been a sunken ship buried beneath the island itself. Another revealed strange geometric patterns, underground concentric circles, angled walls, carved shafts that seemed too regular to be natural. At Smith's Cove, the team unearthed a structure they could barely explain, a stone box drain connected to a wooden slipway. It had been constructed with precision, like a filtration system. Coconut fibers were found there, again thousands of miles from the nearest tropical island. Carbon dating placed the structure's origin in the early 1200s, 2 centuries before Columbus ever reached the Americas. If true, it meant someone was here, and someone was building. But who? No records speak of it. No local tribes tell of it. No explorers' logs mention construction of this scale. And still, the money pit refused to yield. They sank shaft after shaft. They mapped the tunnels in 3 dimensions. They created digital models of the island's underground layout. Still no treasure, still no chamber, just more traps, just more silence. And yet, Oak Island has never been about the treasure alone. It is about the chase, the puzzle, the primal human need to seek what is hidden. Each failure deepens the myth. Each clue feels like the turning of a key, The legend lives not in the gold, but in the question. Because Oak Island does something few places on Earth can do. It resists explanation, and in that resistance, it breathes. Watch part 3 on my page.